All right, so today we're diving into Eckhart Tolle's The Power of Now, a guide to spiritual enlightenment that, interestingly enough, starts not with peace, but with a moment of absolute crisis. So let's start with the man himself, and the one desperate thought that literally changed everything for him, and honestly, for millions of people.
So I want you to just imagine this for a second, this thought just looping in your mind over and over and over again. For Eckhart Tolle, when he was 29, this wasn't just some passing bad mood. After years of struggling with severe depression, this was his reality, a constant, relentless inner torment that brought him right to the absolute edge.
And then, bam, right in the middle of all that darkness, this question just slices through the noise. Who is the I and who is the self that it can't live with? This simple, almost bizarre question created this little crack in his suffering, and that crack opened up a life-altering realization that became the bedrock of everything he teaches.
Okay, so to really get what happened to him, we first have to understand the problem he was wrestling with, which, let's be honest, is a problem a lot of us face, being trapped inside our own heads.
So, Tolle's big idea is that most of our unhappiness, our suffering, it comes from that nonstop voice in our head. You know the one I'm talking about. The narrator who's always judging, worrying, replaying the past. The real problem? We get so caught up in that voice, we think that's who we are. So how did one little question lead to this massive awakening? Let's jump back to that pivotal night and see how this all unfolded.
What he realized was just profound. The I wasn't the noisy, miserable self that was torturing him. No, he was something much deeper. He was the silent observer, the consciousness that was just witnessing the thoughts. And in that tiny bit of separation, that's where he found his freedom.
So Tolle has a name for this constant chatter. He calls it the thinker. And he says that when you learn to just watch the thinker, without getting caught up in it, without judging it, you create this space between you and your mind. And that little space, that's the first huge step toward inner peace.
So this raises a really big question, right? If we're not our past regrets or our future worries, then who are we and where does life actually happen?
Okay, this chart right here just lays it out perfectly. On one side, you've got what Tolle calls psychological time. That's our mind's obsession with the past and the future. He says that's basically an illusion, and it's where all our suffering comes from. But on the other side, you have the present moment, the now. And this isn't just another tick of the clock. For Tolle, it is the only reality that exists. It's the only place you'll ever find real peace. And you know, this isn't just some new agey Western idea. You see this concept in spiritual traditions all over the world. Like for instance, in Urdu, it's beautifully captured as Lamhai Majud, the present moment. The phrase itself just nails the idea that your entire life, everything you remember from the past, everything you dream about for the future, it's only ever happening in this one single, ever-present now. Okay, so this all sounds amazing and profound, but how do we actually do it? You know, in our crazy, busy, thought-filled lives. Well, the good news is Tolle gives us a really practical toolkit to get there. He basically breaks it down into 3 simple but super powerful steps to get yourself into the present. It's like a path, right? First, you watch, then you accept, and finally, you feel. Let's dig into what each of those really means. So that first step, watching the thinker, that's how you start to deal with what Tolle calls the pain body. Think of it as all that old, accumulated emotional junk from your past that's still living inside you. By just observing it, like a scientist watching an experiment, you stop feeding it with your negative thoughts, and slowly it starts to dissolve. It's an idea that you see in other traditions too, a lot like the concept of tazkiya, or the purification of the soul. All right, the second path is all about this one powerful idea. What you resist persists. Now, this doesn't mean you just give up and become a doormat, not at all. It means you stop fighting with what is. You stop arguing with the reality of this moment. And from that place of inner calm, that's when you can take clear, wise action that isn't just a knee-jerk reaction. So what happens when you actually start doing this stuff? What changes? Well, it's a fundamental shift in how you experience pretty much everything. Yourself, your life, and especially your relationships.
And you can see the difference right here. On one side, you have ego-driven relationships. They're all about need and lack and drama, looking for someone else to complete you. But conscious relationships, they're grounded in presence. You don't need the other person to be whole because you already are. You're connecting from a place of fullness, where love, not need, is the whole point.
Okay, so let's just quickly recap the 3 big takeaways from all this. First, you are not your mind. You're the awareness behind it.
Second, the past and future, they're just illusions in your head. The present moment is the only reality you ever truly have. And third, real freedom, real peace, it comes from accepting the now, just as it is.
And this quote from Tolle just wraps it all up perfectly. It's this powerful reminder to pull our focus away from all the mental chatter about yesterday and tomorrow and bring it back to the only place where life is actually happening. And that leaves us with one final thought to take with you. Your journey into presence doesn't have to start with some huge, dramatic event. It can begin with one simple, conscious choice. So, ask yourself this. What is one thought, one worry, or one regret that you can just choose to let go of right now?